Hey guys, this is episode something. I don't know. I honestly don't know what number I'm on. I've never seen that. And before I get into tonight's review, I just wanted to do a weird little update. If anybody, for anybody that happens to follow me on Facebook, I actually put a picture up like a while back of the movies I was going to be reviewing this month. And I just want to say that I'm actually cutting two of them out, and that is Paranormal Activity, the Marked ones, and Paranormal Activity, the Ghost Dimension. I decided not to review these, mainly just for time constraints, because I'm going to be cutting it close to get all these actually reviewed and put up. I'm already not having them put up the way that I wanted them to, but I promise they're all going to get done. They're all going to be put on YouTube by the end of the month. I've cut those two out. I'm thinking about maybe just doing that whole series sometime because I actually really like that series. I am adding Mama though, so I'm going to be throwing that one in. But anyway, on to tonight's review. I decided to go with a classic tonight, and that would be Rosemary's Baby. I know it's surprising to a lot of people that I've never seen this, but it's just one of those movies that I just never got a chance to watch, you know? So I decided to check it out tonight, and I gotta say, I really liked it. I like the idea of, I guess you could say, you know, the cursed children, the children born with evil spirits, things like that. Like Omen is possibly one of my favorite horror movies of all time. It would probably at least be in the top 5. So I was really looking forward to this because this was the first to do all that, and it was a lot different than what I thought it would be. I really was not expecting what it ended up being. I thought that it was going to be more about the baby. I didn't realize that almost the entire movie was going to be the pregnancy. There was a lot of setup, but I really liked what they did, and the fact that they really left it throughout the whole movie. It was very ambiguous whether Rosemary was crazy or whether all of this was really happening, and I like how they played that off. They played each character very straight, without really leaving any hints that this could possibly be bad. You were seeing all of it. You were hearing about all of these bad things that she thought was happening through Rosemary only. You were getting no other real hints from it. And I like that because it made you question, like, is this really happening? Could she be telling the truth, or is she just extremely paranoid and maybe slightly crazy? I liked playing it that way because it really left the audience's expectations up in the air. You didn't know where it was going. You didn't know if it was going to be real up until the end. And everybody did such a great job in this. I never fully realized how much Mia Farrow looks like Gwyneth Paltrow, and that was very, very odd to me. Sorry, I know that had nothing to do with the movie, but when she first came on scene, I'm like, oh my god, she looks almost exactly like Gwyneth Paltrow. And I actually had to stop and look up on IMDb whether they were related in any way. They're not. But, man, the resemblance is really striking. Mia Farrow did an amazing job at playing the character very innocent and naive up until she starts to notice things are wrong. And then she also did a very good job of playing her very paranoid, scared, and crazy. Everybody had a very good performance in this. All the actors were great. All the actors played the role very, very well. They played it just the way they needed to play it. But I would expect nothing less than that. Those kind of performances out of the actor from Roman Polanski. Roman Polanski is an amazing director. What are you doing, cat? Sorry, I got a little cuddle buddy in my lap here. Now, I want to talk about the ending for a minute. And I guess I should maybe put up spoiler alerts here, even though the movie is, well, pretty old. I don't know, 48 years old. But the ending was one of the only things that I really had any sort of problem with. And here's why. I didn't have a problem with the way the movie ended. I didn't have a problem with the fact that everything Rosemary thought was true turned out to be true. I was fine with that. It had a really great suspenseful build-up where she was able to find a way into the other apartment. She was hearing she was hearing a baby crying, and she was suspecting. She was like, what's going on? What is this? It was a nice slow build-up to her finally getting out of bed, and she's able to sneak into the apartment next door, and she's walking through this long hallway, and she sees all the people, and she looks over and sees the bassinet. It's beautiful. It's a great shot. Everybody's silence. You know, everybody kind of goes quiet. You hear little whisperings of, is this the mother? Is this not the mother? Blah, blah, blah. It's great. She goes over, and you can even see her husband in the background trying to hide. It was beautiful. She goes over to this bassinet that is all black with an upside down cross hanging from it as a mobile. She opens it up, looks down, sees the baby, and screams. And it is a really, really well done shot. It's a shot that was done all in one take. It was a nice build-up. And honestly, that could have been the end of the movie, and it would have been great. But they kept going with it, which is fine. But she has this line where she says, "What have you done to his eyes?" And the guy that was in charge of this whole thing says, "Nothing, he has his father's eyes." She says, "A guy has normal eyes. Why are his eyes weird?" And then this guy that was supposed to be in charge of the whole thing, Roman character, he goes off on this rant about how it's Satan's baby and all this stuff, which is fine. Again, you know, giving just a little bit of backstory, even though we didn't really need it. We kind of already expected, because there was the whole scene where she gets raped by Satan, which I don't even want to talk about that. But the way he gave the speech was not right. He was way too chipper, way too excited, which I understand. This is something they've been building to for a while. But it's not the way I don't feel that it's the way the scene should have played. It should have played a little bit more somber. He was way too happy and way too excited, and then started just yelling, "Hail Satan! Hail Satan!" at the end. And it just seemed very cheesy to me. I felt that they could have played it a little bit more somber and a little bit more serious. They could have sat her down and explained what was going on. And of course she gets mad, and but no matter how I feel about the way that scene played out, the very, very end of the movie, I thought was great. Where she yells at this lady for that she's rocking the crib too fast, and she walks over and starts slowly rocking the crib, and then just looks down at the baby, and then fade to black. Or it was almost like she had accepted, I'm going to be the mother to this baby. And it was a really nice way to end the movie, and it was kind of an unexpected way to end the movie, that she accepted what she needed to do. Is she accepted her role that, hey, this is my baby no matter what, even if it's the spawn of Satan. It's still my baby. I thought it worked. I thought it was a good way to end it, even if it was kind of unexpected. But just the cheeriness in that scene was just a little off to me. And the fact that these were supposed to be witches that were trying to bring about the birth of Satan's son, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but I'm not going to get into the religious irregularities in this movie because there's a lot that could be said about that, and I'm not going to get into that. Great movie. Really, really great movie. Longer than I thought it would be. Was not expecting a movie over 2 hours in length, honestly, just because most of the horror movies from this era were shorter. But very good. Highly recommend it. I mean, if you're watching this, then most likely you've already seen it. It's kind of a weird holdout for me to have not seen this movie, but I have now, and I'll be honest, still not as good as The Omen, but great movie, and a great tagline. Conceived in terror, born in fear. Great tagline. Anyway, that's it for this one. See you next time.